Right. Starting in on another Trino Tuesday. Yet again, I need to see if Jan will be joining me. Let's see. Oh, Jan's going to be 5 minutes late, so he'll join in just a little bit. Okay, so while he's doing that, I had some insider information about what might be going on with SQLite from an old colleague of mine. And so let me pull up this bit of SQLite documentation that he pointed me to. I'll present my screen. And I'm not going to reveal your name if you're watching. I know you like to stay in the shadows. So, but thank you if you are watching. Okay. So there is a database object that apparently is just by default. I don't know if it's hard coded or something in SQLite, but apparently it's called main. And so here, let me see if I can zoom in here. So this was not my own research. This was literally the research of a friend of mine. So I do not want to take the credit, but looks like sort of just main, temp, and all attached databases objects with a matching name. Temp database is searched first, followed by the main database, followed by attached databases. So I don't know how you attach a database and necessarily. I guess that there's probably a way to do it in SQLite or probably just creating one yourself. But by default, I think if you just don't use anything, it's probably just using this main database. Oh, it's really strange. I should not be on. I don't know why I'm having like a lag going on. Okay, cool. So let's give it another shot. I want to pull up Trino one more time in here in the thing, and I'm actually gonna bring you into. Oh, here, I need to pull this off of this because this is way too small. Let me go to my other screen here. I'm going to place the code in there so that way y'all can see the code a little bit better. And I'll share the screen there. Entire screen. And screen one. That should be a little more visible. All right, cool. I think that'll be a little more visible. There, let's minimize that. And you should go into this little terminal here. And now should be able to, actually can't remember if we have, oh, well, one thing I can't say yet, I have not started the test yet. So I need to start this runner. Let's start this runner like we did before. Run SQLite main. And that will start up Trino from the IDE. Okay, so server started. And now we'll go into the terminal here. Hopefully this is visible enough. Now we should be able to go Trino and show schema, or here, show schemas in SQLite. Now, I'm not sure if, see, what's strange is that this doesn't show any schemas, but if I do something like show tables in SQLite.main, see, it gave us a JDBC error on that one too. So show schemas in SQLite, show tables in SQLite main. So let me see, show catalogs. Just make sure that that shows SQLite. Okay. I'm wondering, so I guess my friend did have to actually mess with this because I thought for a second maybe he's just saying that it just by default works. So let me see. So show schemas in SQLite, and that one itself, SQLite is how Jan would tell me to say it. There's a JDBC error for that one. So I'm imagining we do have to still kind of go into some of this stuff here with the runner here. So let's go ahead and kill this runner over here from runner, stop running. I've watched Dora the Explorer recently, and so I have swiper stop swiping in my head. Okay, so we the runner. Okay, so this is what I was wanting to get to actually. Anyways, let's minimize this bottom part for now so y'all can see what I'm going through. And as we were showing before, like there were just like basically 3 classes that we built. Oh, Jan's here. Hey, Jan.
Hello.
All right. So I was just telling the audience here that I had some insider information from a friend that was telling me that this there's a like by default a main database in SQLite. So I tried to see if like somehow that would just by default like show up, but it did not.
Setting the default schema to main, right?
Oh, maybe I could do. Actually, I didn't try that. Here, let me try running this one more time then, and let me just set the default schema to main and see if that works. Because all I was doing was I was just trying to simply run a show schemas in SQLite, but let's do a default. Yeah.
So since we're getting the JDBC error, it might be because some methods in JDBC methods are not implemented in the driver we're using, so we will have to avoid calling them, and we will have to end up overriding some of the
to just return main basically.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I was hoping I would get away scot-free without having to dive into the code. Which
you can try that.
No,
it's
perfect. It's probably a bad thing too, anyways, because I like ultimately here. Let's just
well, trying out things is always a good idea.
Oh no, totally. But I mean, I meant to say like I want to actually dive into the code today and show people what we're doing in the SPI. But let's just see if we can get this to work without, and then we'll do it anyways if it does work. And we want this to be main. See, okay. And then let's do show tables.
Yeah, so it's still trying to...
Yeah, so it looks like it's calling something that is like trying to do something in SQLite that it gets mad about.
You can actually, if you run the CLI with the --debug flag, you can see the whole stack trace. So you can see which method from the base JDBC client is being called.
Okay. So it's metadata JDBC client list schemas here. And then this actually goes into the SQLite driver that our friend, our other Trino friend, I know his serial, but I don't know. Now I'm again Taro.
Yes.
Yeah, that Taro set up for us. So this is his driver that he created, and so it's calling something that is, I'm guessing here. Let's actually look at. We can actually jump into this, right? SQL feature not supported inside of
that's row ID lifetime.
Row ID lifetime.
Can you go to base JDBC client to see what it's calling?
Yeah, let's go here. It's calling get schemas, right? So go to declaration, and let's go to implementations of that, and we should see the one for SQLite. This one, yeah. Excuse me. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to override this from happening. So we need that when this gets called, we're sending down the SQLite catalog, but then we don't have like a schema that we're. I actually wonder, is there a get schemas that? So it does have like a schema pattern that you send into it. Is there? If I go to implementations. Go here. Is there, okay, so this is schema pattern, and this just never takes anything. So ultimately, we just need to not call this, period. Like, I thought maybe there was another overloaded method that we could call instead, but that's not the case here. So we, instead of all of this stuff, we basically just need to like have a return a list. So it needs a collection. We could just return a list of a string and literally just return main here instead.
Yep.
So that's how we'll override this. So let's we need to override the client. Do we? I think we already have a SQLite client here. So we just need to override it in this. And let me get to, let's actually just step back real fast. I know this might be kind of going fast for people who aren't used to Java. So in the last setup, we have like basically 3 classes here that need to be implemented because if you dive into any of these classes, is this pretty visible here, Juan? Jan?
Yes.
Okay, I almost called you Juan. We just, yeah. We have a person who's coming over to kind of help out, a contractor who's helping out, and his name is Juan. So I literally just got done talking to him. So now I might call you Juan a couple times on this Aircast. Okay, so if you dive into any of these like 3 classes, the reason why you're getting away with a lot of this stuff, let's just literally dive into the base JDBC client here. If we go into that declaration, look at this library that we're pulling in. So this is I wish I could totally zoom in here, but hopefully you can see this enough. It says Trino base JDBC, and this is literally something that ships with Trino. There are, if we go to all the implementations of this client, this base JDBC client, we'll find, we're just in this. If we were to do this in the actual Trino project, you would find like a whole bunch of the connectors that utilize this common code, and you get a lot of like automatic goodies with all of this library. Like there's so much JDBC stuff that's just already implemented for you, and you don't have to implement it yourself. And we already at least got to be able to say, hey, show catalogs, and that just worked out of the box just by us, utilizing this base JDBC client here, setting up our own client module that goes off of this abstraction configuration aware module, and then literally just making a SQLite plugin that bases off this JDBC plugin and specifying JDBC Lite. So like this is what we were showing like last week, where there's not a lot of setup if you're running your own JDBC, like building off the JDBC thing, but then you'll quickly run into like gotchas. So first gotcha is, hey, there's some weird thing that the SQLite driver that we're using doesn't actually implement being able to call the database by default. Like there's some other code path that I'm guessing that they use to do that. And so we can no longer go off of the, out of the box JDBC base stuff. And that's what we're doing here is we're basically extending this client now to, instead of doing what the default base JDBC thing does for their, where's the base JDBC client? So we have the get schema, list. Yeah, get schema names that gets called here. And that ultimately calls this list schemas thing that calls this method again, there's no, if we go to
it's just not implemented in the driver.
It's not implemented in the driver, and it basically just throws this SQL feature not supported thing. So let's actually implement this. I'm just going to pull on this.
There's a shortcut in IntelliJ to override a method, so it's going to fill out all the code for you. I think you have to do this from the class where you want to override the method. So if you go back to SQLite client, and here you can, I think it's like right click and generate.
Oh, well, under the class?
It doesn't matter. Generate. Yeah, and override methods. Yeah, and you can choose which one.
Now we just need to say list schemas. Okay, so this just is basically now currently just going to be calling the thing that we need to fix. So we don't want to do that because we literally will hit this thing again, right? So what we want to do is, let's go back. What we want to do is return a list. So is there, I have not coded in Trino recently.
Just a list, a copy.
Is there like a list way of doing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And with a value. So it's going to infer the type of the list automatically.
You want to know the last time I coded in the Elasticsearch thing? Well, sorry, there was time in between that, so I actually did already use JDK9 stuff. But the last time I was working on Trino, or it was Presto at the time, I was using Java 8. So that's just to give you some reference for the last time I've been working on this stuff. Okay, so we want to just return a list of what the things are. And according to the documentation here and what my friend told me, it's this main database. So we want this list of schemas to just return this main database. So so that should get us a new error message if we try to run this now. So let's stop and let it rerun. So that we're going to rerun that SQLite query runner. And now, okay, this is still connected, so good. And now this is running. So now we should have updated, let's say show tables. Whoa, what happened? Did it work? Did it work? It worked. So no other error there, right? That's great.
Yep.
Let's see what else we can do here now. Now that we've hacked at the schema. So that was, I thought there was going to be at least like 2 or 3 more issues there. But this is literally like, this is getting to, if we go to the what the space JDBC client is overriding, let me go into this one. And then this is base JDBC. Oh, this is only implemented in the base JDBC. So, but this gets called in get schema names, which I believe is actually on the interface of the JDBC client. Okay, so that's actually only on the JDBC client, but I'm trying to get further back. Oh, this is this is only something that you would implement a JDBC client. I thought there was maybe a base client or something that we'd find along the way, but ultimately this gets used inside of more SPI specific code. So just getting you into more of the the automatic goodies that you get when you're running just a JDBC data or a JDBC driver. You get to kind of circumvent a lot of the traditional development you'd have to do for a connector up front. So
I think it's worth noting here that like this is not part of the SPI. Either the base JDBC client or this JDBC client interface. This is a completely different API. This is like another layer that sits, I don't know, like between the SPI and the connector you're writing. So, and this, it's important to call this out because it kind of looks similar to the SPI, so it might be a little bit confusing. If you're gonna see some similar method names, it obviously works with schemas, tables, and columns, and things like this. But it's just a different API. So
it's just a very purpose-driven. You think about it like a library that is like specifically for making connectors. Not just, it's like the SPI general is like for doing more fancy, like you could potentially do.
SPI is just more generic. This is specifically for JDBC based connectors, and SPI is more generic and probably supports more features, and like you can
for instance, that one does like a query listener and all this kind of like a event listener stuff like that you can build into it, build out more, right? That's one of the, if you dive into that actual SPI, there's like, you can override the default behavior of event listener and how it works. That's one thing that you can that you can do, and who
that's a good example that the SPI is allows to implement like different kinds of plugins, not only connectors.
Exactly.
And even listener is not a connector.
So JDBC is only going to be for a connector, and it's only if you have a JDBC driver that is built around this, like SQLite. So that's where this. If you start building something outside of that, that's where this code no longer helps you. Okay, so good kind of note and aside there. So
I'm also saying this because we don't really have a lot of documentation. We don't have any documentation for the JDBC stuff in the Trino docs. We only cover the SPI, so that's where the confusion might be coming from. If anyone would be reading the docs and at the same time trying to write a JDBC based connector, it might get a little bit confusing.
Cool. So we do have the main schema showing up as well as information schema now. I'm
Yeah,
guessing that's just because so I'm
this
wondering.
might be coming from Trino itself. This might be implemented by Trino. So you will. This is to allow listing metadata that's provided by the connector using regular structures implemented by Trino.
Got it.
So Trino will be the tables that are in the information schema. If you query them, Trino will actually call some metadata methods provided by the
driver.
connector. So
Yeah.
like this is what we're seeing. Like those are some of the methods. It's implemented at a different layer in a JDBC connector.
Yeah.
But like the list schemas method is probably used somehow when you query the information schemata table.
So our point is that there's a lot of places where if you start, digging into some of the stuff that, maybe even start trying to query some of the tables, you might run into some other code that is not going to work. Okay, so we can read out of like empty tables. Let's see if we can what code we run into or what issues we run into when we try to write something. So let me see. Let's create a table. Yeah, let's create a table. So let's see. I'm gonna create table SQLite main table. What should we call this? See, foo. Call it foo. Got to do the foo. ID integer and like.
That's it.
Okay, we created the table. All right. Let's see if we can do an insert. Or actually, let's see if that table shows up. That's another good one. Show tables, right? Because I'm already looking at main. 0 rows. Ouch. Ouch. Okay.
It's what did you switch to the like what schema you have set right now? Because it might be trying to list tables from a different schema, just ignoring the schema name.
Well, it shows right here. It's main Trino main.
Oh, okay.
So I think if and let's just for let me see, just for shits and giggles, these shits and giggles, and the YouTube thing I was referring to.
No,
it's this hilarious German guy that like he's like makes fun of all these kind of American idioms that he thought are just like really silly, and so like how we say like shits and giggles, and so he's like, why would I want to giggle about the shits? I just don't take a shits. So, anyways, let's see. So and even if I specify SQLite main in this, it's not going to show me the table. So something on the code, and what's sad here is like I don't really accept. Actually, it's not showing an error, but is there anything we can see here that
I kind of have an idea what's wrong.
Okay.
Trino code is very defensive, so I suspect that like the default implementation for listing tables in the base JDBC client, it's probably verifying schema names when. So like do
we just look for a list tables? Get table names.
I mean, it gets the tables from SQLite, and there's always a schema name and a table name, so it's probably filtering out tables by schema. And there's only so the driver is probably reporting existing tables with either an empty schema or a different schema than the list schema returns now. Okay. So it's not main. It would be easiest to just to debug this, like debug this method. I mean, we can read it and confirm my assumption or not.
Hold on. Why is my is it because I'm running it? It's because I'm running it. Let me put it. There we go. It's because I'm clicking in the wrong spot. because I haven't debugged anything in an IDE for a while. Okay, let's see. Let's see. So we'll put this here, and I bet this is what's going to get called whenever we run this. Let me run this and debug.
Yeah, hopefully.
Over here. Okay. We pulled that in. Okay, so now let's go back here. Let me create this table, and then let's show tables. Aha. All right, what is our schema here? Optional main.
Yeah, because
Hey.
this is what you set in the CLI.
Yeah.
So
Okay, let's.
this method is going to try reading tables from this schema. So whatever it's going to get from the JDBC driver, it's going to double check if the schemas are actually in the main, those tables are actually in the main.
Okay,
schema.
I need to make sure my function button is being pushed down whenever I click through this. Oh, nope. Oh man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna click the buttons for now so I don't look like a total idiot.
Yeah, that's what I do, honestly. Like
so sometimes I get really into the finding the thing, and now my Mac doesn't. The last time I was messing with that, my Mac had real keys, and now it doesn't.
The latest ones.
The latest ones, it's just like the little virtual keyboard, and it doesn't.
Oh,
have them up there.
they brought back the function keys.
Oh, they brought it back. Nice. Hold on. I need to find the. I need to find my like debug stuff. Is there a debug? For some reason, my debug is not in my view, and I cannot remember how to bring it up now.
What do you mean? What's not in the view?
There's so usually up here, I have I can click debug, but
yeah,
down here. Whoop. Yeah. All right, step into is F7. Let me just try real fast to make sure I didn't click the wrong.
It's just function key and should
key and 7. There we go. Wait, that's step into. So I want to step over.
Yeah.
I want to step.
You can step.
Let me step out, and then I want to step over. That's F8. Okay, F8 is okay. There we go. Now I'm back. I'm back. Okay, so we're going on here. The identity. Where does this go? So we're in this try schema name.
So I would go down to the get tables call on line 201.
201. Okay.
Yeah, there's a loop there. So we're iterating over all tables and just doing something.
Okay.
There's a call to a method called filter schema. So that's what I was suspecting, that we're just verifying the schema name after reading getting a list of tables.
Okay. This remote schema name is hold on. Where's the remote schema? Let's make sure we still have main there. Okay. And then result set. This should ideally have. It's saying nothing though.
Yeah, you also have this window on the bottom right corner. There is a list of all variables. You can track the values there.
Yeah.
As you step over the lines.
Let's see. And when we pulled into this though, we already went through get tables probably. So this is probably where things are going wrong, right? Because the result set.
Not necessarily. So we cannot. I don't think we can preview the whole result set because this is some kind of iterator.
Okay. Okay. So it's going to fill in as we go.
We only have one table, so let's just iterate over it, and this is going to be a single iteration.
Okay. So result set next.
Oh, so it actually didn't return any data, and there's.
It's in this get tables, yeah.
It returns 0 rows.
Yeah. So, what is it? Okay.
It's probably so what was we called get tables from JDBC?
Get tables.
Probably passed the name of the schema there, and it wasn't expecting any schema because there are no schemas in SQLite.
Yes. Declaration. So here we have the remote schema name, escape object, get table types, and there's. Let's see.
Yeah, so we should.
Maybe it's not registered in this metadata object.
This is an instance of some JDBC class, right? Database metadata.
Yeah.
This is returned by JDBC. So I think we have to override get tables and just avoid passing extra arguments there. I think you can try it out without doing anything else. You can evaluate an expression in the debugger just to call this with different arguments and see what it's going to return.
Okay. So you're just saying stop it actually before we call this?
No. Like what? You're still debugging, right? Or did you?
Oh yeah. No, still debugging. Let me see.
Wait, but
So
you're not at the breakpoint. Oh yeah, so you can just.
query is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, that's expected. There are
Let
timeouts.
me go back to this actually real fast. Okay, we already, yeah, we tripped out all the rest of them, so it just finished. Okay, so let's just rerun this again.
Yep.
Wait, what?
So we don't call get tables.
Hold on. Let's put one there and go to declaration.
There's a condition earlier. You have to set the breakpoint somewhere earlier.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, it's up here though. We hit this one before. Am I still like in a context somewhere? And I'm just like, here. I'm going to. Let's see.
There might be some metadata caching. So
Okay.
that's why
let's just restart this one.
Yeah, I think there's by default the JDBC connectors in Trino cache the metadata. So there are some settings which you can use to disable it. I think there's even some session property, but you can just run the debugger again.
This one's getting called still with the when we call get table handle. Oh, okay. Okay, so now we've created the table. Let's go back and show tables in SQLite main.
Yeah, it's checking if the table already exists, basically.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so do this. Okay, now so remote schemas main. There's another get table. Oh yeah, so then this is get tables already. Okay, and now we hit this get table. So I'm gonna just pre-evaluate what is the result here.
We can actually debug inside the JDBC driver, so you could step in to get tables.
Fair enough. Yeah, let's do that. Get metadata, and this is delegator pattern.
Yeah, not this one. You can step out of this one and step into the next statement.
Oops, I went the wrong way. Crap.
Yeah, just step over this and step into get tables. On this get tables.
Okay. Curious to see though. Shouldn't we see get well, let me see. Yeah, I'm not gonna let's go into get tables first. So connection, get catalog. Yeah, let me just step into it before I start trying to okay. Now we're on get tables. We have a null catalog. So that's already a problem right there.
No, not necessarily. This is not. This is a different catalog. It's not a Trino catalog. It's a JDBC catalog, and we might not be using this term from JDBC at all.
Okay. S is main, so that's good. Schema's main. And table pattern, name pattern is null. Just probably fine.
You can immediately see that there's some SQL statement being constructed here, so we can just see where. So it's probably reading. Yeah, it's reading this from some system tables. Where is the from? It's reading from SQLite schema. So it is filtering by schemas, so we can just check what schemas exist in SQLite schema. So there are schemas in SQLite.
Yes.
We learned something today. You can just open in the terminal. You can open another terminal and just fire up SQLite, the SQLite CLI, and just query that table just to see what schemas exist in an empty SQLite database.
Let's see.
Just type SQLite free.
That?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and just select asterisk from SQLite schema.
see, asterisk.
Select.
Oh,
Just
oh,
type
got
of
it.
select
Oh,
query.
you're saying select. Okay, got it. I was like select all from SQLite schema. Do I have to? Oh, let's just try that. No.
So it's doing some union for. Oh, okay, so it's selecting. It's if you read that query, like we can either debug and just wait for like get this full query because it's using some string builder and it might be very hard to read in this code form. But I'm reading this and it returns SQLite schema as a system table and unions with the rest of schemas from SQLite schema, and it's filtering by and then getting some. So it's reading some other system from SQLite schema unions. And oh yeah, so you might want to create a table because it's not returning anything from SQLite schema because there are no tables.
I did create a table though.
No. You opened a new database and it's empty, so you need to create a table here again. The syntax is the same, so.
Oops. Say.
And just run that select again. And if you switch to like you can type dot mode list. No, just type dot. No. Start with an empty. Yeah, just dot mode and list. Yeah, and this changes the output. So if you run the select again, it's gonna print. Oh, sorry, not list, but table. Try table. Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
There we go.
Yeah, so I wanted to have header names, like column names in the header. Yeah, so we can see that it only returns a type, a name, and a table name, which is the same as the name. So there's no schema here, so we have to continue reading that query in the implementation of the driver to see if it's actually filtering by a schema name. Or again, just debug, put a breakpoint later on just to see what's the actual query
thing?
being executed.
Sounds good. Let me put it right. And there's an order by here. I think we have it right by this time. Let's go back here. Up. Hello. All right, there we go. And step over.
Oh, just continue or run the green arrow on the left. Yeah, this one.
Okay.
Yeah, on the right you have the string builder on the bottom right in the list of variables. You have the string builder, and you can press view on the right for next to the SQL. SQL is the and there's a view button on the right or a link or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, so this is the full query that's being executed, and I would expect there to be some parameters with.
Here, I'm gonna bring this into another.
Yeah, if there are no parameters, you can just execute that in the terminal you have open.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's just running against the SQLite database. This is what the driver is executing in the database itself.
Yeah, not like SQLite. Okay, let's see what happens. First, here, let me remove my Spotify. It keeps getting in the way. If anybody wants to listen to a cool guy, his name is Corpse Husband. It's a pretty awesome artist. Okay, and now let's go back to the terminal. Right.
Yeah, so we get all the typical columns, and we see that the schema is empty because we know that there is no schema. Like we checked that this table doesn't have any column that's used for the schema. So
yeah,
it's just like we have an empty column in this query. Just to this, so we are returning this. We're probably just returning this as a result set, and we have to have all the standard columns expected by with standard columns used in the JDBC
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
API. So yeah, that's it. So this returns a result, so we can just continue debugging, step out of it. So like we know that there's going to be at least one row returned. Oh, well, maybe not run, but step, because now we don't know. Like it probably finished running.
We'll get back to this.
So like we saw earlier that there were no rows returned, and that was surprising. But we missed one part. Like we still don't know when this row is being filtered out. That's my point. Like we see that SQLite is returning a correct list of tables just with an empty schema.
Yeah. And so we need. I mean, so essentially, we just need to see where that's getting set.
Where it's being filtered out. Some more filtering is happening, but we're not sure where yet. And if you just continued from this point, we skipped a lot of code.
Okay, let's see. So let's run it one more time. Well, I have to stop and rerun it because apparently something gets cached.
Or you can disable this caching. It's documented in Trino docs how to do it. And we did inherit all the default configuration for JDBC connectors, so we should be able to add this as a configuration option. Especially, it's kind of important. It might be important later to have disable this metadata caching for this SQLite query runner. Because
if we're doing it for like a testing type thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Oops. Oh, great. Now I can't rely on my ups because it's like way too far up. All right. Let's do create. Oh, no, I don't want to do it with this. Wrong thing. Do this. Yeah. All right. Let's create that. Okay. This is checking to see if it doesn't exist, which it shouldn't. So that's good. And then
did you press run again? You were supposed to press step over.
What's that? Oh, no. This was, I was just creating the table.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to show the table. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to step. All right. So now we're back. We're out of here. We're at get tables.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. And that just literally gives us back our result set, though.
Yep.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, so just keep stepping over.
I mean, because here, we should probably step into this one because I'm guessing there's something in this next.
No, like you can step over this. So because result set, yeah. So we run the query. Huh. Yeah, this is weird.
Where's this result? The result set is a JDBC thing, right?
Yes. So that's why we don't.
Oh, so that's why. Yeah, it doesn't serve us any purpose to go in here. But
can you go back to the database metadata class that we were looking at before we stepped out here?
Let me see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
this one is also a
wait. The get tables. I'm just looking how we're calling get tables. So this is supposed, like, if you go to get tables to the implementation of that.
Okay. Let's see. There we go.
Yeah. So if we checked that, if you scroll down to the last line, I'm just so this is executing this SQL query that we tried. What's this true argument at the end? This is an argument for
execute query.
Execute
query. Yep.
Yeah, but why there's true? Like, how does it matter?
Close statement.
Oh yeah, so that doesn't matter.
So then this is where
so it's supposed to execute the same statement just on the SQLite database in the same way.
Trying to make sure there's nothing like funky with this.
So maybe the table doesn't actually get created.
Yeah.
Because we
so it's actually we could actually be debugging the last step, which is create table.
Not necessarily. I mean, like you run create table in Trino.
Yeah.
And it did something, but maybe it didn't actually create the
in
table
SQLite.
In SQLite, yes, or maybe it created it in a different schema. That's not the default one in SQLite. So
should we check SQLite then?
Well, so far we've been using a database that's in memory, so we cannot open it using a different SQLite client. There are no servers in SQLite, so it's just we would have to connect to a database that's a file-based database.
Oh, got it. Yeah. In order for that to be persisted.
Yeah, and
got it.
Then we could open it using a different process.
Okay, we got 15 minutes. Let's think. I kind of want to see if we can just go down the road of figuring out like if it's actually writing the table. Does that sound like a good next step?
Yes. That's what we should do.
Let's get rid of all these other
listing tables might actually work. We checked the query and the query executes fine, and it's actually listing tables. There's some filtering being done in Trino, but we didn't get to that part yet. So we should first confirm that creating tables actually works.
Yeah. Hold on.
We should be able. I'm going to check if the driver DBC SQLite, if it supports something like an initial statements that are being executed on the database when we open it.
Let's see if I can literally just keep creating the same table over and over again.
So it's probably not really creating
actually doing anything. So
can you try without without specifying the schema?
Oh yeah. Yeah, let's just out of this. I'll do oops. Do you remember that the session like show session? Yeah.
You can use like to filter.
Oh yeah.
You can type show session like and filter by name of the property.
And I'm trying to remember the name of the property though.
Which one? The caching?
Would be, I guess, schema. So let's just put schema.
You can use percent sign in for
I did something goofy.
Suffix. Yeah.
Nothing.
What you're looking for?
I'm looking for the variable that's set for what schema, like, because we set schema. I mean, right here it actually shows it, right? Trino colon main.
I don't think that's a session variable.
It's not.
No, I don't think
thinking
so.
That. I thought it was, or is there? There's got to be a way you can check it, though, right?
No, I don't think that's possible.
Oh.
You can select current schema or something like this. There's select current user. Maybe there's select current schema. I don't know.
Oh, I think you're right. Is it like that?
Yep.
Main.
Yep.
Okay. And then if we do current catalog and SQLite catalog. So those are already like pre-selected. So it was actually just redundant that I was adding those. Would you want me to try to like create it without having main there?
I would just debug in the create table method in the base JDBC client.
Okay.
Just to see exactly what's happening, like how we call JDBC, with what arguments, and why this call is getting ignored.
No, wait, not that one. Where's there's a shortcut that I've forgotten to show the outline. Do you know what that is?
Outline.
Yeah.
Outline.
Let's see. Code. I don't know where to find it inside of this thing.
What do you mean by outline?
It just gives you a list of all of the
All the methods.
methods and everything. Yeah. Like Command Shift something. I tried Command Shift O, but that's not it. Oh, shoot. Where's the... Now I can't think of the window to find it in. We're running out.
Command F12.
F12?
Yeah, that's what Google says. Yeah, 12.
Wait, what? I'm trying to push function and it's
Yeah,
not letting...
command function and F12.
Okay. Nope. It's not letting me. All right. Let's see. There's a way to find it in here somewhere. Okay. Well, anyways, let's see if we can just find it.
Yep. You can just search for it. Like it's gonna be create table, begin create table, or finish create table.
Begin create table. I think this, create table. This is another create table. Where's this create table though? Begin create table. This actually goes to what interface? JDBC client. Okay. So this is probably what we want to do. And then this calls this anyways. So I guess we'll just start here, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. If should false hold on, let's go outside of this because I'm assuming that
the one you return.
It's probably gonna be this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. And here, I'm just gonna restart this just to make sure we didn't do anything. All right, that gets called first to verify. That's fine. Oh, and we missed the other one. Hold on. Let's see. We were wrong. Let's just see if begin create table gets called at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this gets called. Begin create table to not called. I'm going to actually just turn this last one off. Base JDBC client. Oh, apparently this will never get executed. There. Okay, that doesn't get called.
Yep.
Okay. Let's move out of here. So let's just go to create table, yeah? Maybe there's another path that gets to this. Oh, that gets called. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
just step into that because it's not. We don't see nothing interesting here.
Okay. Let's see. F7. Let's see. Mm-hmm. And another create table incantation. Let's step into that. All right. So schema table name. Main.foo. Okay. So that is correct. Schema. Okay, the schema is found, so that's good. Schema does get found there. Get schema names, yep. Okay. And then here, moving these things aside so people can see this better. Remote schema, remote table. Okay. I guess we're gonna have to connect the session. So we'll step over, verify, remote schema, remote table. What is this? Remote tables produced.
I was just building some fully qualified.
Just making sure. Yeah. Just making sure. Like this is where I'm trying to figure out if something got targeted. So foo, okay. And then catalog. Catalog is null, but that's fine probably. Verify table name. Right?
It's just an assertion, so you don't have to go into that.
Okay.
Like it would throw an exception if there would be something wrong with
coming out. Yeah. Okay.
the table name.
Let's see. Columns. Do we get the actual columns that come back somehow?
Yep, we have a single column.
Yep. Okay. And then we have.
So if there's a loop below. So if you scroll down to see, like we don't need to go through this loop. I mean, there's just going to be a single column.
Okay. Page sync ID column is present.
So was it present? Probably not. Okay.
So we'll create the SQL here because it says create table SQL.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's an execute. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see what that SQL create table main.foo ID integer. Okay. Now this is the question. Does it actually execute? Let's see. Oops. Shoot. I wanted to step in, but that's fine. Closed, false, query ID. Okay, so it says that worked. See, table handle. Foo.
We don't have this anymore, right? That query. You didn't copy the query. We could try executing that on like in the terminal we opened, because there was a lot of quotes there. Maybe it's messy. And it also appended the schema name to the table name. Maybe that's causing issues in SQLite.
Okay.
So maybe SQLite is executing this query, but maybe it's an unexpected query and the results are unexpected.
Gotcha.
So it might be creating a table, but with some weird name that gets ignored later. Yeah, if you can just copy that and run it in that other SQLite database you have open. Mm-hmm.
Oops.
If you want to list tables, that's .schema in SQLite.
Schema.
Yeah, so we actually have two tables here, and the second one just looks fine. I mean, it's quoted, but it looks correct. So it does get. I would say that it does get created. So it's. I mean, we should just switch to a file-based database instead of a memory-based one, and to be able to inspect it.
Yeah.
See why it doesn't get returned.
I think we'll have to do that on the next one. But so keep joining us in the next Trino Tuesday. This is actually a good stopping point. So we'll dive in next Tuesday on finding this. But this is hopefully a good exercise for y'all to kind of see some of the ways that you'll need to kind of hack around and figure out what's going on. Now, SQLite, granted, is an interesting, especially SQLite memory is an interesting one to look into because it's going to have properties that just don't exist in other types of connectors. Generally, I think things are more developed in general for these JDBC connectors. But then there's always going to be something, right? So this is kind of the way that if you wanted to, go create a JDBC connector and start hopping around, like hopefully this was kind of helpful in the kind of hearing our thought process out loud to playing around with this. So didn't see any questions come in. So So I think we'll just call this a wrap up, and next week we'll dive into trying to see. I mean, I guess we'll switch to a file-based SQLite database, and then we can actually like inspect it a little bit more, inspect what Trino's creating, and then what we're reading on the other session.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good?
Yep.
All right. See you all next week.
See ya.